Welcome to Talk is Sheep, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Society of British Columbia. Brought to you by our title sponsor, Mountain Tough Fitness Lab. Come along with us as we take conversations that matter to you into the high alpine. We have partnered with Mountain Tough Fitness Lab to help get you in shape and mentally stronger. Whether you're a veteran hunter or just starting out, the Mountain Tough app will take you to the next level. We personally train using the Mountain Tough programs, and we believe in it so much that we want to give you 6 weeks for free using code SHEEPBC. That's SHEEPBC. Check out Mountain Tough Fitness Lab. You won't be disappointed. This episode is sponsored by our conservation partner, Stone Glacier. Thank you, Sitka Gear and Stone Glacier, for investing in healthy wildlife and sustainable ecosystems. Good morning, Shaun. Welcome to the Talk is Sheep podcast. Great to have you on. Great to connect with you.
How's it going today?
Good. So you're out in, I guess, southern Alberta. You're in that, I guess, around that Vulcan area, and I think you guys got some snow out in that Alberta country this morning, eh?
Yeah, we woke up to everything white this morning. It's wonderful. I wasn't ready for it. The yard's not ready for it, but it is what it is. We'll take it. It's moisture, so.
Awesome. Yeah, I talked to my dad last night and he's like, yeah, we're waking. I asked him, are you going golfing in the morning? And I was just out there visiting with him a couple of weeks ago, and he was trying to get his last rounds of golf in, and I'm like, hey, are you going to be able to golf this morning? He's like, no, it's not looking good. It's going to be white in the morning. So yeah, pretty cool. So Shaun, maybe fill us in for our listeners a little bit about who Shaun is, talk a little bit about What No Way, what kind of stuff, and I know I'm not doing it justice in how I'm saying it. I apologize, but I'm not gonna challenge the master here. So just talk a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So I'm just, as I call myself, I'm just a stupid welder. I have a small welding business, and we kind of got into the whole online scene during COVID. I guess the story on that is we were bored during COVID, and we had watched everything there was to watch on Netflix and all that. And so we downloaded TikTok. And so I started making TikToks with my welding business, just different things I was doing and making. And it actually helped my welding business out quite a bit. We got quite a bit more work out of it, and some of the different things that I was building that no one else was. And so yeah, I kind of took off that way. And then me and my wife decided to make a bet to who could get the most followers. And she was beating me for a little bit, and I posted one reaction video on my welding page about What No Way, and it was a screwdriver and how you can put a wrench on the handle of a screwdriver. And I seen that video, and so I just hit record and what no way, and went with it and tried it out. And it was kind of one of those amazement things. Like a lot of people say it's common sense, but there's so many other people out there that were amazed by it, and the whole fuck's sake, and I don't know if I can swear on here, but
yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I threw in a few of those, and yeah, the video blew up. Like, I mean, I woke up the next day and I think it was 10,000 new followers, and the video had gone viral overnight, like 2 million views. And so I did another video, and it did the same thing. So I kind of thought, hey, maybe we're on to something here. So I had another account with my another TikTok account, and it was called the It's Just Money Car. And it was me working on my Chevelle and different stuff. And I mean, no one wanted to watch some nobody will build a car, right? So I had about 150 followers on there, and I switched that page to What No Way. And we started posting exclusively that content, reaction videos and tool hacks and different things. And we grew just exponentially. Like, it just every day it's 10,000 followers and like 10-20 million views. And it was mind blowing. And so, yeah, it got it's grown so much. Like we're at 8.5, almost 9 million followers across all platforms. And
Wow.
I mean, you go from being someone that nobody notices to someone that you can't go to a store now without, like, I've tried hiding my hair, I've tried not wearing my what and away gear. It doesn't matter. People recognize me.
So, clearly, it's the content they're interested in. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's the hacks. I think if people are looking for life hacks, I think it's who you are as an individual. Like you're just, well, first of all, as soon as you say the what and away thing, it just like it's like I don't know, a rally signal or something. It just so, it resonates, right? So there's that. But like, what do you think it is that drew people to you? Like, is it the authenticity of what you're doing? Is it the content? Is it just like obviously the slogan's super cool, but it's not. That's not who you are. It's about how you 100 people could say that and everybody would fall asleep, but you say it and everyone pays attention. So what kind of reaction? Where do you see that all this excitement and energy around the page coming from?
We get a lot of comments about how um, I'm just a regular guy. Like
Right.
I haven't. A lot of people they get a certain amount of fame and it's like they start snubbing people. We try to respond to everyone. I say hello to everyone. Like everyone says like you're very authentic. You don't fake things, and like I mean, people question the videos and stuff like that, but the reactions are authentic and they like that. It's funny. Like we get a lot of people do the roar. I'm like, what roar? What are you talking about? And they're like, do the roar.
That's hilarious. Uh, so are you gonna do the roar for us? Because I don't know what they're.
What? No way.
Oh, okay, that's the roar.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the
the chant.
roar
Okay,
that
yeah, for
everyone
sure.
talks about. So yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a lot of it is just uh, they watch my videos and we get a lot of comments. I could sit down and have a beer with you, and you seem like a really down to earth person, and that's me. Like the videos, that's me. I'm not putting this on. It's not something that I just made up. Like I've been saying what in a way a long time, and like even my friends, they'll be out at a party or something and they'll like someone will, hey, have you seen this guy? And they'll show my friend a video of me and they're like, oh yeah, that's just Shaun. And it's just me. I'm just showing me, and people enjoy it. So
well, it's incredibly authentic. It's very relatable. And I agree with you. Like for me, that's the I guess the attraction to what you're doing is that you're just this like a down to earth guy and no pretense. But okay, so how does it? You got like 100 followers on your Chevelle rebuild page, and now you got what do you say 8 or 9 million people? Like that's a big number. And how do
yeah.
you connect with? It's pretty easy to be relatable and connect with a couple hundred people, but to be like connect with 9 million, 8 million people. That's a different story. So talk about that evolution on how it's changed your life over this, and it's been very short time. It's been since COVID, right? So, how has it changed your life?
uh I mean, so one of the things we try to do, we like, especially during COVID, like we didn't talk about COVID. We didn't talk about politics. We didn't talk about like religion. Like we kept all that stuff out of it. And we get everyone can relate to a guy finding out like a tool hack or a food hack or something like that. It's when you start throwing in the politics and stuff like that that creates the division of, and I've seen it on other pages too. As soon as they throw that stuff in, that they start losing that side of their following. And I was like, I just want to make people happy and laugh and stuff like that. So we kept all that out. But yeah, it we when we started it, it was just something fun to do, and it's still something fun to do. I told my wife if we're not having fun doing it, we won't keep doing it. But yeah, when you go from 150 followers to like on our TikTok is 4.3 million, and it's crazy, and the messages you get, like we were getting 1,000 messages a day at one point. And it's hard to respond to everyone, but we try to.
Yeah. So, um, how does it work? Like, okay, so now, you obviously become an influencer. You've got that many people paying attention to your content. How does it work now? Like, obviously you're a genuine guy, down to earth, but now people are like, oh, well, can you market my stuff? Or people want access to your data, your platform. So how do you sort of manage that aspect of it? Because it's easy to be torn by the money, right? Like, holy shit, these people are going to give us like 100 grand or 500,000 or whatever. They're going to give us money, and all we have to do is say this. But it's not like, is it tough? Is that a hard part of with this growth that you've
Um,
experienced?
yeah, so we're very specific on who we'll work with. Like we obviously, like we do brand deals, and I mean, one of the first companies to sponsor me was actually Off the Grid Apparel, and they do camouflage and all that stuff. And met them through, well, Gore Bamford. I met him through the whole What in a Way thing, and he said, "Hey, I'm partnered up with Off the Grid," and like, yeah, it's tough. Like we've gotten a lot of offers, and I only ever put out anything that I personally would use or do use. And if a company wants me, like we have a Jackery solar generator, and we did a video for them, and I didn't know how great it would be. They sent one out, and I was like, you know what, this is going to be great for hunting camp. And so I did a video for it, and I've been using it for 2 years now up at hunting camp, and it's absolutely great. But we've had companies like, hey, can you put this out for us? And I'm like, no, it's not something that I would get behind. And that's something big. Like we won't just make a video for the money. And but that being said, we are trying to do content creation as our main source of income now. And TikTok doesn't pay Canadians at all. So we're on YouTube and Facebook. YouTube and Facebook, they pay per views. But I mean, we've basically replaced my welding income. So we took this year off of welding to just see if we could make it with the whole content stuff.
Is it enjoyable? Do you like it? So if you're like, okay, there's a life as a welder, and obviously you do because you said if you didn't like it, you'd stop. But um, there's your life as a welder and doing what you're doing and just like no pressure, just um, and then there's your influencer side. And so if you picked one, are you enjoying it as much as you did welding?
Oh yeah, I absolutely love making the videos. Like we're fortunate enough we're building a race car right now. So and all this stems from the whole What in a Way. Like we went out, NHRA brought us out for a few of their races, and we thought, hey, that'd be cool to get into it. So we went and got my drag racing license. Like NHRA sent me for my drag racing license, and we got some content out of it. And then I was at SEMA last year with CRC, and we had this idea in a hotel room at 1 a.m. Hey, let's build a car on for our YouTube channel. And so basically January 3rd of this year, I pulled a car into my shop and started working on it, making content on building how to go racing. And we're getting there. We started it up the other day, and hopefully it's snowing now, but we'll hopefully have it on the street here soon. And we're going to take it down to Florida in January and go race with it. So, yeah, like the whole What in a Way thing has given us a whole bunch of opportunities to do some new stuff, and we are enjoying it. But I do miss the welding. I do have a few customers that when they call it's like, yeah, you were a great customer. I'll like, not to say help you out, but I enjoy working for him, so I continue doing the little odd jobs here and there.
Yeah, very cool, man. Well, super cool journey, and I got tons of questions there. But I kind of the main reason we're a hunting slash conservation podcast, so I'm gonna slide over to that realm of things. And one of the things that we noticed, and I hadn't realized, I didn't look closely at your channel that you were hunting and doing a lot of hunting, and I actually look back and like, holy crap, yeah, I know Shaun's been hunting for a long time and has a family involved, and it wasn't just sort of a clicks thing or whatever either, right? So totally genuine. So, but there were a few things I did notice about it, and sort of I guess the hate, and the same old thing. It's like people just love to hate anyone that. Some people like to hate people that are hunters or do anything hunting related.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to go down that rabbit hole and talk a little bit about your experience on the page and your experience in life on that. But before we get there, let's just back it up and talk about like when you got into hunting and how you got into hunting and that aspect of it first.
So I've been hunting basically, well, I think I shot my first deer when I was 14. I've been hunting for every year since 14, and it I haven't done much like bush hunting. It's all prairie stuff. And I mean it's a lot different on the prairies than it is going into the bush. And I never really knew the huge differences until I started going out into the bush and like how difficult it is and basic like how dangerous it can be. We've been out in the Porcupine Hills, and we come out of the like we'll hike up for elk and we come back down, and right in our footprints or bear tracks following where we were going. Like it's pretty crazy what you can see out there. And but yeah, I've been hunting basically my whole life. My dad was I used to go out hunting with him. He kind of got out of it, and then I took an interest in it. Started out, I tried bow hunting, and on the prairie, it's difficult to get close to anything. And but yeah, it's always been a part of our life. And I most recently, like in the last, I guess, 10 years, I get well, maybe not 10, the last 8 years or so, like I've had some stomach issues where I can't stomach beef and like any store-bought meat. So we're almost exclusively wild meat in the house now.
Huh. Very cool. So, like I know there's quite a bit of deer hunting stuff now. This year, I believe was your first year that you harvested an elk. Am I correct in that? Or
Yeah, this was my first elk.
oh,
And
okay.
yeah. It was pretty exciting. We got like I've been going elk hunting for years, and last year really got me hooked on it. I had some close encounters with elk, and like having a bull bugle back and stuff like that, and like screaming at you, and it really kind of like put that hook deep in me that yeah, you got to get back out there. And this year managed to make it happen, and yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Very cool. So were those draws, or did you just, is there a general open season that you were able to go to for those?
I was general open.
Okay. Yeah, right on. So did you take your first deer when you were 14? Like I said, I think you said you went when you were 14, but is that when you took
Yeah,
your first animal?
yeah, that
Yeah.
was my first year.
Right. Yeah, right on. And your kids have grown up on wild meat and they like it and stuff too?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like they got to try elk for the first time. So I got a moose, what was it, 8 years ago. And so they didn't really get to like the oldest is 8, so he didn't really get into it that much. So they don't really know what moose is, but they all liked elk. The little one, the 2 year old, I mean, I guess he's 3. Yeah, he couldn't get enough of it. So it's pretty awesome.
Very cool. So one of the things I noticed was as soon as you posted stuff, and I went back and looked at previous posts from last year from your whitetail hunt and stuff like that. As soon as you posted that stuff, instantly like people were freaking out. So most people were like, yeah, yeah, super cool, congrats, and then lots of relatability, but there was that small portion. So um does that is that good for business or is it bad for business? First of all, is it good for the page or like
Uh,
obviously you lose some followers, but
it so last year when I posted that picture with my kids with that whitetail, and last year was worse than this year. We got a lot of hate. I mean, that's the first time I've ever gotten death threats. Um, like, I mean, the hatred people can spew on the internet is just it it's mind blowing. I didn't expect it to go like that. Like I thought, yeah, I get a few people because I always do. Like even on my personal page, like I have friends that, oh, I don't agree with that and blah blah blah, and that's fine to not agree with it, but to threaten someone's life and like say how you're parenting bad and this and that and you're raising murderers and this and that, like it's just mind blowing what people can say. So last year when we posted that picture, we lost on our Instagram, I think we lost about 10,000 followers overnight.
wow.
And I kind of laughed about it. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like I don't want people that are gonna message hate to me following me. That's fine. And we actually went through and blocked a few people that didn't unfollow, but they had crappy things to say. And but then about a day after, the hunters and the people that live off the land and stuff like that, they started seeing those pictures and immediately started following. I didn't know this guy hunts as well and started following. We gained back like 50,000 followers. So
Oh,
we
holy
lost
shit.
10,000 last year, but we gained another 50. So really, it we didn't lose anything out of it. And like I hate seeing that people stop following, but if you're gonna spew hate and if you don't agree with the things I do, there's no point following me. I get that. And when we posted the elk stuff this year, like so when I shot the elk and we went back, like the whole story on it, and I sent pictures to my buddy Kevin and Gord with Off the Grid Apparel. And I was like, yeah, we finally got to paint this stuff red. Like I got one first elk, and they were ecstatic for me because they knew how much I've been trying for an elk. And Kevin says to me, he's like, are you going to post about it? And I said, oh yeah. And he's like, well, like, do you mind if I share? I'm like, you can share it all you want. Like we know how last year went, so we'll see how this year goes. So we actually posted videos and stuff like that. And yeah, we lost, I think it was about 5,000 or 6,000 followers day of. And then there was about a 2 or 3 day window where people were unfollowing and had nasty comments. But then again, we got like another 30,000 people following us out of it. And
Huh.
it's interesting to see what people say when they're behind a keyboard and stuff like that. But it's part of it, right? Like if I was just myself, I no one would care that I got an elk, but because I'm classed as an influencer now, everyone has an opinion.
So what do you make of this? Like, you grew up like pretty simple life, like, hardworking guy, like, and kind of, and then there was this whole advent in the last, whatever, 15, 20 years of social media where like, obviously it's been around longer than that, but really 15, 20 years. Um, what's your take on this? Like, it's so freaking divisive, and people, like in communities, right? Like, how many people in your community don't come up to you and say, "Well, I'm not going to talk to you, Shaun, because you shot something, you killed something," and maybe it's where we live, like maybe it's because you're in, southern Alberta, maybe that's part of it, but you know, for the most part, people wouldn't like come over to your house and call you a murderer in person, but they do it on the
No.
internet. It's
Yeah.
kind of a new fucked up world, really, in many ways, right? Like it's really kind of a fucked up existence, and it's the new normal, right? Like it's here to stay. It's not like a flash to the pan, and it's going to evolve, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like the new normal, and it's so contrary to human characteristics, right? Like it's Because in the old days, if somebody came up to you and said something and they're like, "You're a murderer," you'd punch them in the face and then they'd stop saying stupid shit,
Yeah.
right? Like it's kind of a weird world.
Well, we were gonna do a segment on our channel of no way guy approaches. And like we've got the internet, it's funny with the internet, right? It's pretty easy to find people if you want. Like, I mean, all these people that say these fucked up comments, you can go to their Facebook page and find out where they work, where like all that, right? And we were gonna do a segment where I printed out everything, all the nasty shit they had to say about me, and I was gonna go to their work and record me confronting them. And it's funny because like my wife, she wanted to do it. She's like, we should do that. And I was like, well, I don't really know. Like then I got thinking, I'm like, oh, what if this guy like is actually fucking crazy and does something stupid, right? But yeah, it's the internet has made it so easy to bully and belittle people. It's sad. It like I'm scared for my kids for when they get on the internet because I know what I the hate that I get as an influencer. And like I know when they were in school, like we homeschool our kids. We're trying it this year just because of our traveling and stuff. And I know the hate that they get at school because of who I am. And it's just ridiculous. But the internet's just made it so easy for you to bully and belittle. It's just, yeah, it's sickening.
Yeah, for sure. So when you talk about your kids at school and the bullying, is that more related to just what no way in the page and who you are, or is it like the hunting is the sort of the main
No,
thrust of it?
that's the what in a way and stuff like that. Like it
Right.
around here, it's like the hunting is it's whatever. A lot of people around here do hunt. Um, and most of our hates, but like it isn't anyone local. Like it's funny, like in my local town, like I'm still just Shaun, right? Like I'm not the no way guy and all that stuff. But like we got messages from the UK. I had a guy that messaged me a week before my hunting trip, and he's like, "Oh, we love you in the UK. You're awesome." And this and that, everyone loves you over here. And then I posted those elk pictures, and his next message to me was, "We fucking hate you in the UK, killing animals and this and that. You lost every single follower." And it's funny.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. Um, so with regards to the hunting and your that aspect of it, is there ever any thought to stop posting that stuff, or is it is it I guess it sounds like it certainly is probably good for business and kind of weeds out the assholes anyways, or
Well, and
um
that's how we kind of looked at it, is it weeds out the people that we don't want following us. Um, I don't I don't see me ever not posting about it because it's something that I like. I've put my life out on the internet. It's pretty much everything that I do goes on to my pages now. So it's kind of a life blog, right? So I don't see not posting about it. And I guess we'll see how November goes because I got a deer hunt in November, and then I'm going for my dad got drawn for his cow elk in January. So I got at least two more hunts to post about. So we'll see how that goes. But you don't catch everyone on the first one. So
yeah, yeah. Well, and the other side of it too is the brands, right? Like there's these brands, and there's brands that obviously um the brand that with your apparel brand, they supported you, right? So they're good
yeah.
with it. But obviously they're probably catering to that sort of demographic as well, right? But so do you ever get people where they're like, we don't want any of our content on your page because you posted hunting stuff, or
We've had not I haven't heard about the hunting stuff. Like it the amount of swearing I do has been the the big thing that's kind of kept some people away from us. But we haven't heard anything about the hunting side because like Well, a couple of the companies that we're currently talking to, they sell hunting clothes and different stuff too. So it's good business for them. But yeah, we haven't really heard anything bad about the hunting from any companies per se.
Yeah, right on. Um, so your elk, so this has been a multi-year journey for you. You've been trying a long
Yeah.
time to get it. Talk about your elk hunt and how you killed your elk.
So so we hunt. It's about, I think it's about a 9 hour drive for us.
Oh
And
man, wow.
yeah, so like we decided to drive halfway the one day and then get up a little bit earlier this year because normally we when we get into camp where we set up camp, by the time camp set up, it's getting dark and we can't do our first night's hunt. And so we got up there a little bit earlier this year. We got stuff set up and so the one guy in our group, he had a moose tag. And I said to him, I said, well, why don't we go see if we can find a moose for you tonight? I didn't expect to see any elk where we were going because I hunted that area last year and I didn't see a damn thing. So I had no expectations when we were going out. Like I just was hoping we'd find a moose for John. And so we get down, we call it the Beaver Dam. So there's a big slough beaver dam, and then on the back, and then there's a like a cut line of trees, and then on the backside there's a big open hayfield. And so we got set up with the wind and everything like that, and we were there for I think 2.5 hours or so. And we were just sitting on the big open field, and all of a sudden, like we got deer coming out and stuff like that, and all of a sudden the wind switches and it's at my back. I'm like, wow, shit, this field's completely blown out. And we had some cattle that were out in the slough area earlier. So I was like, there's probably not going to be anything coming there. Like I haven't seen elk with cattle since we've been going out, right? And so I decided the trees were about 50 or 60 feet wide, like the tree patch. So I just got up, I went to the other side of the trees where the wind was working with me on the beaver dam, and just sitting there, all the cows just started moving out and we had about 20 minutes left of legal light. And I got on my phone, I'm texting John. I'm like, yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything. I said, we may as well start packing up. And then I look up and I see something walk out of the trees at about 450 yards. I'm like, oh, 1 second. So I get the binoculars out, have a look. I'm like, oh, that's an elk. And so then I get looking a little bit closer. I'm like, that's a legal bull. So then I text John. I said, don't move. There's an elk out here. And so I started crawling up through the brush to get as close as I could, and it was going to put me out in the open. So I I'm not big on long range. I'm like I have my comfort zone of where I like to shoot at, and it's about between 200 and 250 is where I'm comfortable that I can make the shot and everything like that. So for this thing to come out at 450 yards, and it's my first legal elk that I can put a bullet at, and I'm sitting there shaking. I'm like I need this thing to walk a little bit further, a little bit. So I'm ranging it every few seconds, and he's slowly coming in. And when he got to 250, I was sitting I had a fence post there, and I was sitting there ready, and pulled the trigger and click. I'm like, what? And I forgot to throw a round in it. So then I'm flustered. I'm like, oh no, because like it was dead calm when I pulled the trigger, and that click, I seen it lift its head, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna blow this out. So I'm trying to put a shell in as quiet as I can and get one loaded in, and I let it go, and he kind of did it like humped up a bit, and I was like, oh, I got him. I said he's gonna go down. I'm watching him. He walked into 200, and he's still just standing there. I'm like, what's going on? Like, and then he starts turning around to walk back to the trees. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I got one. Like he should have went down. So I get all set up again and send out another one at him, and I heard the smack, like you hear that smack, right? And I was like, that one for sure. So then he just keeps walking back to the trees, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Nor I'm used to shooting deer, and you shoot a deer, like you hit a deer and it's down pretty quick, right? And so I'm shaking and freaking out, and it got out to 350. And so I was thinking, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to try another one. So I shot at him again and missed. And at this point, it was just at legal light. So, I mean, I can't keep shooting. And he walks into the trees and looks back out into the beaver dam, and then walks into the trees. And I'm like, oh, like this is going to be a long night. So right after the third shot, my phone starts ringing, and we were about 2 miles from camp. And it's my buddy Devin that I go hunting with that first brought me up there. And he phones, he's like, are we hauling out a moose? And I said, no, it's an elk. And he's like, well, that second one hit it for sure. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, we could hear everything. So he knew the second one hit from 2 miles away. They heard the smack. And so I said, no. So I told him, I said, I shot at him 3 times and it walked back into the trees. And he's like, do not go anywhere near over there. He's like, come back, get a few of us. We'll come and we'll track it down. He's like, that second one was a good one. He'll only be 50 feet into the trees, but just give him the time. We don't need him to bump and run, right? So I hang up the phone and I'm just shaking the whole way back to the side by side to head back to camp. And we get back to camp, we gather up flashlights, headlights, and there was 4 of us that went back, me, James, Dean, and Devin. And we got back there, and I had marked in my mind and on my GPS of where it went into the trees. But when you get back there, it's completely different because it's pitch black. So I'm
Yeah.
standing there with like spotlight in the trees, trying to find the 2 trees that I marked where he, like in my mind, where he went in. And I was like, it was these 2 trees. So we start going in and we're looking for blood. We can't find a speck of blood on the ground, nothing. And we search for, I don't know, probably 45 minutes hiking up and down this hill, just in a grid trying to find it. And I finally, Dean said, I remember him saying, he's like, I can smell him. He's here somewhere. And I was like, you can smell him? He's like, yeah, elk have a smell. And I had never thought of it, right? And so I went back out into the slough and shone the light out and tried to figure, I'm like, we must be at the wrong set of trees. And then I shine the light up, and there it was, the poplar tree with the orange. It had orange leaves on it, and 2 spruce trees. So I walked to the bottom of those. Still no blood, nothing. Everyone's, I don't know, a quarter mile away up the hill looking for this thing. And so I start walking this one trail that goes up in there, and there I found him. He was piled up into a bunch of trees, and so I yell out, I'm like, yeah, I found him. And everyone starts hooting and hollering, and we come out and get some pictures with them. And it was so funny because Dean had walked right by him, probably missed him by 20 feet. And that was when he said, like, I can smell him. And then when we got up to him, yeah, you could definitely smell what a rutting elk smells like. And so then the work began. So it was pretty exciting. Yeah, I liked it. Just my first one, and I've been up there a few years now, and we've gone from years of not seeing elk to elk completely surrounding us, but no legal bulls, or it's right before sunrise and then they're gone as soon as the sun comes up. So it was pretty exciting.
Very cool. Just out of curiosity, what are you shooting for a rifle?
It's a Remington 30-06.
Okay, yeah, right on. And have you tried the meat? Like he was in the rut. So what was the meat like? Was it is it
Oh, I
gamey at
mean,
all or?
so so in our camp, the tenderloins don't make it home. Like
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
so we got the thing back to camp, carved tenderloins out, and we cooked them the next day. And I mean, it was the best meat I think I've ever had. Aside from my moose, my I really enjoy moose, and I think the elk was second to my moose, but we've had a bunch of it here since being home, and yeah, it's really good. I don't I don't I don't think it's really gamey. It's a different flavor, and I like my kids do notice the taste difference in it, but they like it better than say the mule deer or the whitetail deer that we have.
yeah, right on. Well, you'll have lots of meat for the year then, and then you
Oh,
also have a whitetail hunt planned this fall as well.
yeah, so Kevin with Off the Grid, he's got some prime area, and I told him I said, you know, if I'm going to be putting out all your guys' gear, you're going to have to put me on a big whitetail because I've yet to put one on my wall. Like we hunt mostly for meat, but I mean it'd be nice to have a nice set of horns on the wall, right? Um, so yeah, he's got a nice couple nice areas, and I'm gonna go out hunting with him. And he invited me out elk hunting, but we already had our hunt planned up north. So
Right on. Do you put in for draws in Alberta for elk or?
I've been putting in for elk. Like so in my area, there's a fairly well, it used to be a fairly large herd, like right close to home here on the prairie. And so they finally opened up a season for it, and yeah, I think guys were 12-year priority to get drawn on that. But yeah, we put in for whitetails, mule deer. I pretty much put in for everything just to build up. Like my antelope, I got 12 years put into that, and I should be able to pull that tag kind of whenever I want. But
Cool.
that's another hunt where it takes a lot of time and a lot of miles to find them and find a decent one too, right? So
Yeah, so I grew up in Alberta and I had pretty good priority and then we moved away, so non-resident. But I went hunting out there in Brooks this year. So I bought a hunt with Silver Sage Outfitters out there, and my
okay,
wife
yeah.
and I hunted antelope. So I got my first antelope this year, and I'd never killed one before. So I had a draw, I think an archery draw or something a long time ago, but I just never. I was young and dumb and didn't even really put much time into it. I was too busy doing other stuff. But
Well,
yeah.
I got drawn years ago for my Suffield elk.
Right.
And I mean, back then, like now it's not as like it used to be the hunt everyone wanted, right? There was monsters running around out there and everyone wanted that, it seemed like. And I got drawn for it. And so I went to my boss at the time and I was like, hey, I got drawn for my Suffield elk. This is kind of once in a lifetime opportunity for me and my dad because we've both been putting in. So he got his too. And my boss was like, no, you'll have to quit if you want to go. And I mean, I needed the money more than I needed the elk. So I
Yeah.
didn't get to do that hunt. And yeah, I just haven't put back in for there. But
So for the Suffield elk, was that the one right inside
yeah.
inside Suffield? Yeah. So I used to live on the northeast side of the Suffield block. My dad owned land it was zone 150, I think, which is like
Okay.
literally on the northeast corner of the block. Like you go to the corner of the block and draw a line. My dad owned a couple sections on that corner right there. So and that's where I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So because they had a archery elk, that was general there. And I was working in the Jenner and Cadia Valley, and we were working on the 555. and we were doing well abandonments right along the outside edge of the base.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were trying to figure out how to find an elk off the base, but yeah, everything was staying on there.
Yeah, they're so bloody smart. It actually, when I grew up, I left the farm when I was 18, and I'm a little older than you, as you can tell. And when I was out there, they didn't have elk out in the block at that time. So they after I left, they removed all the wild horses, and then they did a transplant. They moved those Cypress Hills elk, I think it were, into the block. And then, of course, there's no predators, so they exploded, right? So,
Yeah.
for the first decade, they started having a hunt outside the block, but there was never one inside. And then eventually they became so overrun with elk that they ended up opening it up. And that, I think that kind of in some ways screwed the hunt outside the block because people would just come in and shoot everything or whatever. They take so
Yeah.
many, they took enough, right? But it was like for like when they first did that transplant, the first 10 years, there was some amazing elk were killed, especially right in the rut. I actually got a draw at some point in there, like a long time ago. And like I killed it was kind of a dink, but that's the only elk I've ever killed as well. And that was right down near my dad's place there too. So
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, super cool. So now you got the fever, the itch. I guess you've killed a mountain animal. So what's obviously you got your whitetail hunt this year. And did you say your dad had he had us an elk cow draw this year?
Yeah, my dad got an elk cow draw for, I can't remember what zone it is, but it's on a friend of his property that he said he's like the elk all year sitting there eating on my hay, and it's more of a management thing for that guy. But I mean, dad's excited. Like when he came over for Thanksgiving and we had elk meat, and he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to have some in my freezer." And I said, "Well, I'm not giving you any of mine, so you better shoot something."
That's awesome. And then you guys will get obviously probably get a whitetail this year, and so you should have a pretty good freezer full of meat this year. Should be good.
Yeah, it'll be real good. It's nice to put that elk in there and not have to worry. I might be a little more choosy on my whitetail this year now that we have the meat, but again, we hunt for meat, not for horns. Like you can't eat the antlers, right? So
Yeah, for sure. Talk a little bit about your dad. So you said your dad got you into it, so he was kind of mentoring you and like got you involved, and then you kind of did your own thing because he stepped back. Now he's obviously back. Have you been hunting with him the last few years, or is this kind of a new thing where he's kind of
um,
back in the groove?
it's kind of a new thing. Like there's been a couple years where he's pulled his landowner's tag for mule deer and stuff like that for just for pepperoni or whatever. But yeah, like when I was little, I used to follow him around. He used to bow hunt. And I know when he was younger, like my grandpa, his dad used to hunt a lot. And so I think he's starting to get a little bit back into it. And I might see about taking him up to camp next year and and seeing how he enjoys being back in the bush, because I think he did do some bush hunting with his dad. But yeah, I used to follow him around when he would bow hunt. So just as a little kid, and so I kind of got into that, and then I was using his bow when I was bow hunting, and I never shot anything with a bow. I could never get. I shot at, I guess, two deer with the bow, and it was the most disappointing day of my hunting life. It was a big mule deer, like big 4x4 mule deer, and I shot right under its chest. And when I was pulling out a second arrow and I would start drawing back and he started running, well, as he started running, he kicked up probably the biggest whitetail I've ever seen that was laying down about 20 feet away from him. And it was just disappointing to see two of the biggest deer I've encountered running away. But I'd like to get back into bow hunting, and I was going to, and then they switched the the bow hunt around here for mule deer is on draw now too. So
Uh,
for me
yeah.
to for me to hunt, like, I'll probably only hunt mule deer around my area maybe five more times, if that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it takes so long to get, like, I think I'm priority 6 now, and I didn't get my draw. It's 8 years is on the light end right now. So
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. And I think, the whole CWD, the chronic wasting disease issues, complicates things because there's probably less deer than there was. And I know when I grew up, I did a little bit of archery. I think I killed one animal with a bow, and which was really exciting and rewarding and lucky as hell because I didn't know what I was doing. But I'd shot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I was being unethical, but I wasn't. I certainly wasn't experienced. But I feel like now with the CWD and everything, it's a little bit more messed up. And then of course there's still tons of demand too because it's such a fun hunt. Mule deer hunting's so much fun, right? So,
yeah, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like, I did go, like, before it was put to draw, I did hunt them quite a bit, and I mean, it's pretty cool when you spot a deer half a mile away or whatever out in a standing crop field, and you count the sprayer tracks of where it's laying down in the field, and then you drive down there and hike in and you start counting, and then you try and figure out, oh, did I miscount? And then you belly crawl for like half a mile or a quarter mile, and you try and figure out if you're in the right area, and then you stand like looking for them, and then you figure out you're 2 rows out or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah, it's
that was some of the most exciting hunts that I've done. And I mean, I didn't even harvest anything, right? So it's just fun. It's good to get out and
yeah.
just be outside, right? So
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk a little bit goals. So, any other hunting goals? So, obviously, killed a great elk this year. You got your stuff this year, but do you have any other aspirations? You talked a little bit about sort of more of the bush hunting or the mountain hunting or stuff. Do you have any aspirations beyond? Obviously, you're still building your priority on at pronghorn. Do you put in for? Are you building your priority for sheep in Alberta?
yeah, so I've been putting in for sheep for, I can't remember how many years priority I am. But yeah, I'd love to do a sheep hunt, and I know the work involved in that. Like, I definitely, like, if I got drawn for that, it'd be training. And because I have a buddy in BC that he asked me if I wanted to go on a goat hunt with him. He had his goat tag, so he and I mean, he's huge into the sheep hunting, and like he said, he's like, once you start hunting sheep, it turns into an addiction.
Yeah,
And I've seen some of the pictures of him, like where he's been trying to find the sheep, and I'm like, yeah, you got to have an addiction if you're going to these areas. Like, so I went goat hunting with him, and so I got to get a taste of what it's like to climb the mountains looking for like sheep, and like we were seeing sheep and goats and everything. And that was the most strenuous hunt I've ever been on. So I'm excited to hopefully get drawn for a sheep one day, but I'm not excited about all the work I'm gonna have to put into doing it. Um, but yeah, I'd really like to do like a Yukon moose hunt or something like that. Like go for like the big boys. There's big moose in Alberta, but I'd love to see one of them big mountain moose up there. And then
yeah,
red stag in New Zealand. That's another one that I've thrown on my bucket list of, I just seeing pictures of those animals on the top of them mountains and stuff. I really, and I put it out there on every, because everyone asks during my lives that I do, like I go live on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and everyone always there's always someone asking about hunts, and then when we start talking about hunting, well, what's your dream hunt? And so I keep putting it out there that I want to go on a red stag hunt in New Zealand, and hoping I get an invite over there at some point. But
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. One of our followers on the podcast, he emailed me and shout out to that fellow there. He said suggested he could set me up, like talk me through how to. You can just do it DIY, right? You just go over there and do it yourself. I think the
Oh,
success
really?
rate's pretty. Yeah, because they're basically invasive. I don't know about the red stag, but certainly like some of these other species over there, like I think tar and stuff like that. You can just go and hunt them and just go do it yourself. You don't need a guide. You don't need anything.
Oh,
So I got actually now that I mentioned it, I got to follow up with that guy and chat with him. So I'll keep you posted on how that goes. But
yeah, let me
um,
know. That's interesting.
well, and the interesting thing, I know of guys that have gone over there in New Zealand and they can use helicopters and stuff like that. Like in BC and Alberta, you can't fly it. Like you can't use a helicopter to hunt, like period. You just can't do a fly in with those. But you can with fixed wing, because they don't want guys being dropped off on top of mountains and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
makes sense. But over there, you can do that. So they'll actually fly you to the top of a mountain, drop you off, and then you can hunt down and go hunt something. So it's
Oh, that'd be
yeah,
way easier than
yeah.
hiking to the top of the mountain and then doing that.
Yeah, it's gentleman hunting over there for sure. Um, so one last thing I want to talk to you about a little bit is back to let's mix the hunting and the influencer part again. And hunting is a pretty natural. It's very it's innate in us, right? We've been always been hunters, like from the beginning of mankind. Like people were out hunting, hunter gatherers, pretty obvious. So it's who we are, right? And it's pretty honest. Like you're like, okay, you're feeding people. It's about so in this modern era, all of a sudden it's become not okay to be a hunter. So and there's this hate mail, like 10,000 people. Like I get it, you got 9 million followers. That's a lot of people, but 10,000 is a shitload of people. You're like, holy crap. But
Yeah.
so, so, people love to hate hunting, but I just don't, and there's this disconnect too. It's like people are wearing fur. They're eating meat anyway. They're eating processed
Yeah.
meat. It's interesting. One of the things I did note about your page was that the vegans came to your defense. And quite often I see that vegans will defend sort of the hunting. They like, I'd rather see you eat natural, organic food that you've sourced yourself as opposed to
Yeah.
farm factory food, right? So, but it's interesting, like that, are people just not educated, or is it just the fact that people don't like things dying? I just don't, I'd like to hear your perspective from as an influencer,
I
what you're seeing.
I think it's the education. Like when I was in high school, well, in junior high, we had hunter education, and I mean there was a book that and maybe this was only like rural areas that got this, but I mean we learned about hunting. And I mean you look up in Alaska and stuff, those schools up there, they actually butcher animals in their school because it's part of their life, but it's there's no education in it anymore. And what's his name from Meat Eater, he had a really interesting perspective that it's more like not hunting is a lot, how did he put it, it was more not common to not hunt than it is to hunt. Like it,
Right.
like the evolution of hunting, not hunting is very new, but the education isn't there, so people aren't pe- people don't know where their food comes from, right? It's so easy to just go to the supermarket and grab a pack of ground beef and take it home, and you don't have to know what that cow went through or the processes after. But I know exactly where my elk came from. It came out of the trees and what it's been eating. And I mean, it's, yeah, it's education. Like people just, they need to educate more. And that's what I try. Like when we get people that don't agree, but they're open to hearing about it, we'll talk to them and tell them like this meat is way better for you than anything you're buying in a supermarket. And when they hear that my stomach issues with like supermarket meat, and so I'm eating something that's healthy off the land, they can start to understand it, but they don't want to know that something died. And I
Yeah.
think that's a big thing. Like people need to understand that anything you eat is dying. Like it doesn't matter if you're a vegetarian, vegan, whatever. like if you're spraying fields, all the mice and everything, like there's no happy median. Something's
Yeah.
dying in the grand scheme of things, and I'd rather it die and feed my family than be farmed, right? Like
Right.
I don't know if that made sense at all. I kind of rambled on there, but I
No, it makes a
the
lot of sense.
I think a big thing is people need the education of it needs to get back into the schools. And like I know a lot of that went away. Like I don't even think our high school does the outdoor ed trips anymore. Like we used to go on like survival trips, right? And like you had to build yourself. Like we go in, I think it was January that we went. Like, it was cold as shit. And it was grade 12. And to pass your grade 12 survival trip, you had to go out and build yourself a shelter and a fire and all that stuff. And you had either a 12-hour trip or a 24-hour trip. And yeah, like that, I think they need to do that again. They need to send these kids out into the bush and learn this stuff because it's what the people are well, it's the same thing with politics, right? Like it's whoever says something the loudest is going to get heard. And if you can teach these kids that hunting is okay, it is people still rely on it, it's still a huge part of society, then they're going to start opening up to it again, and you're going to see new hunters come from it. Like my kids can't wait to go hunting, and it's the father son thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and hats off to you, Shaun, because as an influencer, people are concerned about, losing followers or losing obviously somebody that's maybe a sponsor and stuff like that. And you've stayed true to yourself. You tell that story, and I do think you do a great job of it. Like, you posted about that elk, and it's like, it wasn't just a hero shot like of you and the elk. It was, you showed the meat, you showed the camp, you showed the experience, you showed your buddies, like, and that's what hunting is to all of us, right? Hunting's not about, it's not about the trigger. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about, and I noticed there's no pictures of firearms in there, which I get probably because Meta won't let you post them. But that said, that's not what it's about. It's not about the gun or the pulling the trigger. It's about your buddies and that experience, and the celebration of bringing, and people. I thought it was interesting. One guy was like, I find it interesting that you're sitting on the animal and smiling. I'm like, well, fuck, you just got like 1,000 pounds worth of food that's going to feed your
Yeah,
family for the next year. Of course you're happy. Like,
yeah,
and for 100 other reasons too, right? But that's certainly a big one. Like, it's like, and also this, like, the fact that you did this after years of trying, like, people have this perception of hunters that they're like, oh, they drive out there and they just shoot them out of the window when they're drinking whiskey in their plaid, right? Like, no, like,
yeah,
you worked hard. You've gone for years. You drove 9 hours just to freaking get there.
yeah.
It's a huge undertaking.
We put on miles when we're up there. Like we all go on the Find My Phone app. We all have each other on there, so we know where everyone is. And I mean, we're putting on miles of walking when we get to where we're going. And like to say that there was a buildup last year was such an exciting year, and I didn't shoot anything. Like I sat on a field and I had elk surrounding me. Like I was sitting on the lone bush on this field, this hay field, and I was camoed up and the elk were all around me. I was certain. I was like, yeah, I got this. I'm gonna get my elk today. And I didn't have a cow tag, and it's all cow tag or cows out there and spikers. There was nothing legal. And hear the crashing. Like that morning was when we had the big bugle fest. And I'm like, there's a big bull here, and he's going to come out. Like all his cows are out here. He's going to come out and check on him here shortly. And I hear crashing through the trees, and I'm like, here it is. I'm excited. And then it was one of the biggest whitetails I've seen in a few years walks out. And I'm like, damn it. Like now I'm torn because I got a whitetail tag, but I want my first elk. So I let this whitetails out and he catches wind of me and he starts walking up and down looking for me. And I'm like, this whitetail is gonna ruin my day. And he finally pinpointed me in the bush. He finally picked me out and he did his bark and blew out the whole field. And that was one of the most exciting things ever. Like having 30 elk out in the field and then a whitetail. You got the crosshairs on him because you're thinking, okay, if you're gonna blow this field out, I'll take you. But then I decided I wanted my elk more than I wanted a white-tailed deer since I drove that far up there to hunt, right? So but yeah, it's always exciting. We have such a great time in camp and telling stories, and especially this year we had my buddy Devin's dad and one of his friends came. So we had two old boys in the camp telling hunting stories and like talking about their Africa hunts and different stuff. So it's always such a good time just to get away for a week with the boys and talk about stuff. And it's just it's great for the mind and the body, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Shaun. Well, dude, I want to thank you so much for talking to us about this. For I guess, whether it's intentional or not, like just being a voice for hunting and making sure that, that it's. I think it's so cool to me when I see a mainstream influencer that maybe is a hunter but doesn't have the balls to or the fortitude to post about it because they're worried about their image and there's a lot of that, right? There's a lot that happens. There's a lot of people that are silently, hide their pursuit of hunting because they're afraid of the outcome. And so anyway, my hat's off to you. Super cool. Love the platform. Anyone that wants to check you out, follow you. Not like you need the followers, but I know it never hurts. So
Oh,
how do they get a hold of
we
you?
love getting new followers to the page, and it's great to anyone that's new. It's awesome to have them.
Cool. So if anyone's interested, how do they get to the page to check you out? Where do they go?
So if you look up What No Way, basically on all platforms or No Way Guy, you can find us. If you check out No Way Guy on YouTube, you can see we're building the race car on there. But yeah, we're just starting to post a lot more other than the hacks and stuff like that too. So there will be some more hunting content coming out here soon as well. So
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. And just look forward to following you along. It's always it's just yeah, it's a good way to start my morning is to listen to your to your roar. So appreciate you, man.
awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate you bringing me on.